Hello everyone, today I'm gonna build a ping pong game. I'm very excited about this because I really enjoy playing real ping pong, so this is a lot of fun for me. So let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is you need to go to your favorite IDE. I'm using Visual Studio Code and make 3 files, a CSS file, HTML file, and JavaScript file. And then link your HTML file to your CSS file and link it to the JavaScript file. And then you can build your paddle and ball elements. So follow along if you like. Paddle 1, paddle 2, and the ball. Okay, now we have to add some CSS to style these elements. So paddle 1, this border radius is to make the paddle an oval shape, so it's more lifelike. Okay, so the same thing for paddle 2, except for we will make it be on the right hand side. Now we want to make the ball. So this is going to be in the middle of the screen. And we want it to be black. So if we go to our, oops, I forgot to add the top value, should be 510. Okay, so now we have the 2 paddles and we have the ball. So now we have to make this game interactive. So here we have a list of variables, and these variables, most of them control the top and left values of the paddle and ball elements. So the names are pretty descriptive, so they tell you what each variable is controlling. Okay, so let's get started. It should be 510. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is, because this is a 2-player game, we have 2 players. One player is going to use the W and S key to move their paddle, and one player is going to use the up and down arrow keys to move their paddle. So to add an event listener for both of these, and the event listener is called key down, and then on the function we pass the event as an argument. Then we do if event key code is equal to 87, which is the key for the W keyboard key, or either which equal 87. Speed of paddle is going to equal -10. So we're going to subtract -10 from the top value of paddle 1. And this is going to make the paddle move up. And the same for the S key, except for S is 83, key code 83. And instead of subtracting 10, we're going to add 10. This will make the paddle move down. And now for the second player, we're going to use the up and down arrow keys. So up, the key code is 38. Paddle 2. $40 for the down arrow key. So now we're going to take this speed of paddle 2 variable and add it to the position of paddle variable. And we want this to happen regularly. So we can use a Windows set interval function. This is basically a function that called everything inside it. We're going to do it every 60 times per second. So let's do function show So 60 times per second. So position paddle 1 plus equals speed of paddle 1, and the same for paddle 2. And now we want to actually update the top value of both paddles. So we can do document.element by id paddle 1 dot style dot top equal position 1, and the same for paddle 2. Okay, so now if we go to our game, we can move our paddles. However, you might notice that they're not stopping. So ideally, I want to, when I release the key, I want the paddle to stop. So let's go to our game now, and we can add another event listener. So we just copy and paste this for simplicity's sake. And instead of the key down event listener, we can use the key up event listener. Key up. And we're not going to add or subtract any values when we release the key. We're just going to make the position stay the same. So we're going to make it 0. So nothing's going to happen when we release. So now when I press the key and I let go, the paddle stops. And same for the other paddle, which is kind of cool. But we have another problem. The paddles can escape the screen. They can leave the screen. So we want to add a condition where the paddles are unable to leave the screen. So we can go back to our window set interval function, and we can an if statement. So if position of paddle is less than or equal to 1, then we make position paddle 1 equal 1. So 1 is just 1 pixel away from the top. So 1 px from the top. So we do the same for paddle 2. So now if we go back to our game and we try and go outside the window at the top, we can't. But we can still do it for the bottom. Okay, so we have to add another if statement. So let me write a comment here. Stop paddle from leaving top of window. So the if statement. Window dot inner height, which is just the height of the window minus the paddle height. Then we want to set. So this is just when the paddle is next to the bottom of the screen, or is at the bottom of the screen. So same for paddle number 2. Add a comment here. Stop paddle from leaving bottom of window. Okay, so now if we go back to our game, we should not be able to leave the window now. Kind of cool. Okay, so now we're pretty much done for the paddle. Now we have to just make this ball randomly move in different directions. So if we go back to our code here, we're going to add another function. This function is going to be called start ball. And when we start the ball, we want the ball to be at the same positions. We want it to be at 510 top and 820. Okay, so when we run this function, the ball will be at these locations. So then now we want to add an if statement that will decide whether the ball goes towards the left-hand side or the right-hand side. So math, this function just generates a random number. It's less than 0.5. Then we want So essentially, when this number is positive, when this math.random function produces a number, and it's less than 0.5, then the ball's going to go towards the right. Else, the ball's going to go towards the left. So it randomizes so the players don't know which direction the ball's going to go in. And the angle that the ball goes is randomized too. And now we're going to randomize the speed of the ball. And you can change these numbers to make the ball faster or slower, whatever you like. So now we have this function. Now we want to update the position of the ball based on its speed. So top position of ball plus equals top speed of ball, and left position of ball plus equals left speed of ball. Now we will change the actual styling. Oops. Okay, so now we want this function to run when we load the game. So let's go back to our HTML file and add this onload attribute. So this will run when the body is loaded. So we go back to our game. Now we can see that the ball is randomly, sometimes it goes left, sometimes it goes right, and the speed and direction is being changed. It's kind of cool. Okay, so now we want the ball to bounce off the sides of the screen. So we can do that. By going to our set interval function, add another if statement. So if top position of ball is less than or equal to 10, so when it's 10 pixels away from the top, or top position of ball is greater than or equal to window dot inner height minus the ball radius. So when it hits the bottom of the screen, then we want it to reflect. So let's check this out. So it's not working. Let's see why. If top position of ball is less than or equal to 10, or top position of ball is greater than or equal to windows dot inner height, left, oops, I did left, should be top, sorry, top speed of ball. Okay, let's try now. And now we can see that the ball bounces from the top and bottom of the screen. Okay, cool. So now that's done. Now we need to find a way to make the ball bounce off the paddle. So when it hits the paddle, the ball reflects. So this is the main logic of the game. So, and the hardest part. So bear with me. If left position of ball is less than or equal to the paddle width, and if top position of ball is greater than position paddle 1, and top position plus paddle height, then we want the ball to reflect. Else start the game again. So this is for paddle 1. Let's try for paddle 2 as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if the ball now reflects off the paddles. Yes. Okay, but there's some error in what we just did there. So this should be not inner height, but inner width. Let's go back. Okay, so now we have a not fully functioning game, but a functioning game. So you can see that the ball bounces off the paddle, and if it doesn't, then the game restarts. So great. So now we just need to find some way to add the score. So let's quickly add the score. So score 1. Then we can go back to our HTML file and add a div. The style is to display flex, justify content center. And inside here we have our scores. And let's make the font size, let's say 100 pixels. Now let's dynamically update the scores. And same for score 2. Let's see how this looks. So now we have our scores. And do they update? No. They both update. Okay, I think I made an error. This should be score 2. Yep, and this should be score 1. This should be score 2. Okay. Let's see if this works now. Yep. Yep. Okay, so now our score system is working. Now we can just add some styling to make this game look a bit more cooler, I guess. So let's go back to our theme editor. And let's change the background color. Color is blue. See what it looks like. That's better. That looks more cool. And let's change the color of the scores. White. There you go. And let's add like a net so that we can see and like it's more game realistic. So we can add a div here. Let's call it net. And let's go to our CSS. Let's now let's make our net. Oops. Let's put it inside here. Okay, that didn't work. Um, Rather strange. Okay, for now, let's just, because we don't have much time, let's put this center this. And let's change it so that it's up here. Okay, so now we have our net. Okay, and I guess one more thing we could do is we can add some sound. So every time there's a score, then we can, it makes a sound. So you can just download any sound file from the internet. I happen to download it, some applause sound. So you can just go to your JavaScript file, and every time there's a point, we can create a new instance of that audio. So we can do var audio equal new audio. How do we have audio slash applause? I think it is applause dot wv, then audio dot play. Let's add it to both. Let's go back. Okay, something went wrong. I believe this should be capital. Let's try again. Yeah, now we have the sound. It's quite an annoying sound, so you can change it to whatever you like. But that's it, guys. Hopefully this tutorial helped you out make a really cool ping pong game. Thank you for listening. Have a great night. Please subscribe and like the video. Thank you.